Yeah, at the outset, I'd like to thank each and every one of you for coming to cover our program, I should say. And, well, I don't know, you are aware of why we are gathered here this morning. I don't know whether I should go ahead or you will ask the questions. But before that, uh, we are a body comprising of 13 villages abutting the national highway. And in the past, or in the last recent past, thank you for giving a good coverage to our statements, because what we feel is that the issues that we're raising now has to do with each and every Naga citizen. It's a concern of not only these 13 villages, but we believe it's the concern of all the people of Nagaland. And it's quite a coincidence that we're given to understand that the interlocutor for Naga peace talks, Mr. A.K. Mishra, is also here in Nagaland. He'll be here today and tomorrow, I believe. We've sought an appointment with him to submit a memorandum to him, but so far we haven't got any response from his office. So in the meantime, we will rely on you all to give good coverage to our memorandum, and for which I would like to request the secretary of our forum, Mr. Vika H. Chishi, to read out the memorandum that we've prepared.
Thank you, Chairman, for the time. And straight away with the memorandum that we have drafted to give our interlocutor, Mr. A.K. Mishra. So these are the points. Memorandum to interlocutor for Naga peace talks demanding strict implementation of the ceasefire ground rules and rectification of defects in the ground rules. Sir, it is quite providential that you should land up in Nagaland when we, the National Highway Village Councils Forum, a body consisting of 13 villages, formed in the aftermath of the carnage created by the NACN Kango Group on May 23rd, 2025 at Unity Village, when some 30 odd armed cadres of the faction came to the village and entered into a private compound and attempted to assassinate one of their rival functionaries. These cadres fired indiscriminately, thereby causing panic and fear psychosis in the minds of the villagers. Several cadres were identified from CCTV recording, and their names have been mentioned in the FIR. We are happy to note that on receipt of the complaint filed by the Unity Village Council with the police, the Ceasefire Monitoring Supervisory Board reacted promptly and arranged the local police along with Assam Rifles to raid the residence of the mastermind of the heinous escape, one Hekato Kinimi. However, he was not present in the residence since he, along with the other identified perpetrators, had taken refuge in the designated ceasefire monitoring office, where the police and the security forces could not enter because of restrictions contained in the ceasefire ground rules. We would like to mention here that this is not the first time identified criminals have taken refuge in the designated ceasefire monitoring offices of the various factions. And therefore, we would like to lay the following points to you to take up urgently so that the Naga public do not suffer any longer from the hands of some criminals posing as Naga political activists. Point number 1, that a crime be considered as a crime and the culprits punished according to the provisions of the law of the land, irrespective of whether the perpetrators are affiliated to any political outfit or not, and that the perpetrators of the dastardly act at Unity Village on May 23, 2025 be apprehended and brought to book without any further delay. Point number 2, provisions of the ceasefire ground rules be strictly implemented in letter and spirit so that cadres do not roam around in uniform and with arms or indulge in extortion, illegal taxation, kidnapping, or abduction for ransom. Point number 3. We iterate that ceasefire monitoring offices of the faction should be done away with because these places have been converted into safe havens for criminals and all cadres of the factions be concentrated in their designated camps. Point number 4. And when identified criminals are found to be taking refuge in any places, including designated offices or camps, the security forces should be empowered to enter and apprehend lawbreakers for which the ceasefire ground rules need to be amended. Number 5. Since the Naga peace talks have been concluded on October 31, 2019, as had been stated by your predecessor, Mr. R.N. Ravi, on the floor of the Nagaland Legislative Assembly, we demand that a logical conclusion be brought about without any delay so that the people of Nagaland can live normal lives like any of their fellow citizens in the rest of the country. Thank you.
Yeah, if you'd like to ask any questions. Yeah, tomorrow we're we wanted to organize protest rallies and all that, but then in the heat, this heat, it'll be a bit inconvenient for the public also to gather. And also, we even contemplated on uh, closure of the national highway, but then that will inconvenience the general public. And also, we didn't want to impose a closure of shops for the whole day. We just wanted to show our unhappiness, our anguish, our disappointment with the activities of the all the underground factions who are harassing the public, and also the inactiveness of the government of India. So tomorrow we've called for a closure of shops and display of black flags from 6 a.m. to 12 noon. And we are also in touch with chambers of commerce all over the state, and the response we're getting now is quite encouraging. And yes, we'd like to iterate that we don't want to inconvenience or harass the traders or the consumers or the customers. So we've been requesting the other chambers of commerce to show their solidarity with us by way of displaying black flags in front of all the business establishments or shops. Now, I was saying that we are also disappointed with the government of India. Why? Because ceasefire has been signed with several factions of the Naga underground groups. And we're happy to note that there is absolute cessation of hostilities among the parties which have signed the ceasefire agreements. However, the ground reality is that the Naga public, the people of Nagaland, we're suffering in many ways more than one. What about illegal taxation? How are the traders being harassed to pay exorbitant amount of money for the trucks and the goods to enter the gates? And who is the ultimate victim? It's you and I. The traders, they won't be running their shops at a loss. They will be certainly making up the losses or the taxes paid to the underground groups from us, the consumers. Indirectly, we're paying to the underground groups. The government of Nagaland or the government of India is aware. But then, because, like we said in the memorandum, there are certain flaws, there are certain shortcomings, defects in the ceasefire ground rules. Because the state government is not party to these ceasefire agreements, And there are gray areas in these ground rules. What we civilians perceive as law and order problem is translated by the undergrounds as Naga political issue. Law and order problem is a state subject, and the state government is absolutely capable of handling the law and order situations. But then when these are translated wrongly as Naga political issue, the state government is helpless. The state police is helpless. We have very efficient police officers, very dedicated soldiers, jawans, and officers, but their hands are tied. Their hands are tied. They can't enter into the ceasefire monitoring offices, even though they know that criminals are taking refuge there. How can this be? How can we allow this to continue? These are the defects that we are demanding that the government of India rectify at the earliest. The template that was signed of the ceasefire agreement that was signed with NOCNIM and NOCNK decades back, they're still used as agreements with the other factions. And how many factions are there in Nagaland? I've lost count. I've lost count. And how is it that the government of India is allowing all these factions to mushroom up? If they have not signed any ceasefire agreements with the government of India, then these factions should be treated as armed gangsters under the garb of Naga political issue. We, the public, are being harassed by almost all the factions. What is the logic of all this? We fail to understand. So, the small movement that we've started, we want to prick the conscience of the Naga public as well as the cadres in all the factions. We want the cadres to realize that the Naga public has had enough of their activities, of their illegalities. We've had enough. And as and when they claim that they are fighting for the cause of the Naga people, why should they torture the Naga people? This is the paradox of the Naga society today. The paradox is that those who were claiming to be fighting for us, they are making our lives miserable. We want to live a normal life like any other citizens of the country. We don't want this Naga political issue to be handed over to the next generation. We want to see that this Naga political issue is settled in our lifetime. We want our children, the younger generation, to grow up to live in a society which is normal. We want our children to live in a society which is free from fear. We want our children to live a normal life. Thank you. Any questions that you'd like to ask will be.
With respect to all the leaders in the dais, what is the resolution? As a National Highway Council's Forum taken any decision with regards to vendors residing inside the villages of the the mentioned 13 villages.
See, in one of our earlier statements, we have mentioned about going to the extent of ostracizing them. We know the Nagaland, I mean the factions, they are, most of them are Nagas of Nagaland only. And as long as they live in any village, be it in my village, in our jurisdiction, if they don't indulge in antisocial activities, we have no issues with that. But as and when they indulge in any activities that is considered to be criminal, then we will even go to the extent of expelling them from the village and ostracize them. When we are expelling bootleggers or drug peddlers, any underground group to whichever political outfit they are affiliated to, they'll be treated as criminals, lawbreakers, and the village councils will, according to the customary laws of the Nagas, will take action.
I have another question. This might seem a bit critical. Uh, Earlier in the days, in the past 2, 3 years, what we have witnessed is many illegal activities by the armed cadres. We have seen kidnappings, we have seen torture, extortions. What led to this scenario of closing down the shops when in this scenario?
See, one thing we want to make very clear is that it all started with the unfortunate incident of 23rd May at Unity Village. We, the neighboring villages, we came together and we requested the administration, the ceasefire supervisory board, to apprehend the culprits, as many of them were clearly identified by the CCTV camera footages. But when we realized that even though the security forces, they took prompt action in raiding the residences, and they even carried out the ceasefire monitoring office of the NECN Congo. Like I said earlier, their hands were tied. They couldn't enter the ceasefire monitoring designated office. So what we realize is that no, it has more to do now than with the Congo group alone. It has more to do now than with 23rd May incident at Unity Village alone. There are inherent defects in the ceasefire ground rules. So, to show our resentment, to show our concern, unhappiness, we have taken this step of closure of shops. But let me repeat, we don't want to inconvenience the traders or the customers or the public, general public. We are not stopping or blocking any vehicular movement. We are requesting the business establishments to close, to down the shutters and display a black flag. We're going for significance. The significance of a black flag, I need not elaborate. And we're hopeful, we're confident that all the shops in our area will be closed down. And more than our area, black flags will also be displayed in other parts of not only the district but in the state.
I have another question. The 13 village councils under the banner of the National Highway Councils Forum, have you identified the number of cadres residing inside the village inside this forum? Also, the designated village councils, have they met with the cadres residing after the incident? Have they met with the cadres and then informed them to maintain peace and tranquility?
That I will have to leave to the Tilika village council of the Gambra clarify. Unfortunately, he hasn't made it yet. But the main perpetrators, I believe, they're in Tilika village, and the other village. I don't know whether they're in other villages. But like I said, if they don't break the rules, break the laws, we have no issues. But then, as and when they are identified, I think, well, the councils will look into it. And of course, it is not the prerogative of the councils to apprehend or to arrest, or that is beyond our portfolio, that's beyond our brief. But we leave it to the wisdom of the state government and the law enforcing agencies to do what is needful to ensure that Nagaland has some, the rule of law prevails in Nagaland too. Yeah, Dilip, one of the senior most, you're remaining silent. Imran, Aruna, very unlike you to be silent. Yeah, let's hear it from the lady.
So, in case the memorandum is not submitted, if the council does not get the
Appointment.
appointment with the IKM G, whom will the forum submit the memorandum to?
Oh, we'll pass it on to the administration, or we can even forward it to the ceasefire supervisory board. And anyway, more than that, we will give you copies of it. Will depend on you all to publicize the thing, whether it reaches them, whether we hand them over personally or not. If it's covered in the media, that serves a purpose.